Hi everyone, Jackie here. As promised, I'm going to do the tutorial on the 2 pages that I used for my Cafe Parisian recipe album. The album had 5 pages and I used 2 basic pages for the whole album. So I wanted to go ahead and, as I promised, do the tutorial on how to make the pages. You're going to make, for the album, you're going to make 3 of the expanding pocket pages. That's going to hold multiple recipes, newspaper clippings, magazine clippings of recipes, online recipes that you've printed out. So you're going to have 3 of these pocket ones, and then you're going to have 2 of your recipe card holder uh, pages. And let's see what I did with the recipe holder, or the recipe cards that I used as a template. Good question. What did I do with them? Uh-oh. They were right here. Okay, well, they're right here. Here is one. Okay, I've got one, but I will use another one here. A blank paper to help show you. So these are going to hold, they have 2, this page has 2 pockets that is actually going to hold your recipe cards in. And the cards that I used are 3.5 by 5. And so that's how, and you can get 2 recipe cards in on each page. So each page will hold 4 recipes. And then we have as well on the in the album I have the pockets that also hold additional recipe cards. So this, although it's a quick and simple recipe book, it does hold quite a few recipe cards. And when I made the album, my theme was for desserts, because the Cafe Parisian collection had these beautiful papers with the dessert theme on it. And so that's what I did, was make a recipe album simply for desserts. So, okay, let's get started with the actual page tutorials. So, for the pocket page, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. Your first cardstock you're going to cut at 9.5 by 6.5. Your second one you're going to cut at 8.5 by 6.5. Our pages are 6.5 by 8.5 for the books, with the half a gusset for attaching to your hinge. So on the 9.5 by 6.5, you want to score it at 1/2 inch on each side. Half an inch, and then again at 9 inches, which is going to give you 1/2 inch on each side. Then you're going to turn it 90 degrees and very lightly score at 1/2 inch. And again, this is you don't have to do this one. I do it to help as a guide for when I put down my envelope inserts. That's going to pocket the envelope pockets that are holding the recipe cards. So that's all you're going to need on that one. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, and this could be a different color cardstock, so I use just the basic white. And you're going to cut it at 8 3/4 by 5 1/4. And what you want to do there is you want to, on the 5 1/4 side, you want to score it at 1/2 inch. Turn it 90 degrees, and on the 8 3/4 side, you want to score it at 4, and then you want to score it at 8 1/8. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and score the other one as well right now. So you want to score it 1/2 inch on this 5 1/4 side, and then you want to score it at 4 inches and 8 1/8 inch. Okay. Now, the plain white paper, like I said, you can use any color cardstock. You don't have to use your good Cartabella cardstock, because nobody's going to see this one. It's just going to be hidden, and nobody's going to see it. So what you want to do on the 8 1/8 score, you want to come down and cut off that little corner block there. Like that. Then you want to score a cut from the on this end up to the score line on the 4 inch. And then you want to cut again up, so you're actually cutting off that piece. So this is what you're going to end up with, is your piece is going to look just like this. So this is your 4 inch score, your 8 1/8 score, and then your 1/2 inch score at the bottom. Okay. Let's do the other one. So you want to cut off this one, and from the 4 inch score line, and then all the way over. So again, you're going to end up with that. Okay, now let's go ahead and taper off the corners on this one. And on this side as well. So that's what you're going to have. So all you're doing is just mitering the corners so you can do your fold. Okay, so go ahead and fold over your score line, making sure that they're even, top and bottom. And then you want to fold this one over here. And then you want to go ahead and fold that one up. Okay. Select your adhesive. I'm just going to use my Art Glitter Glue. You can use score tape. You can use liquid adhesive. When you use your adhesive or your score tape, make sure you are putting it closest to the edge here, because you do have a 1/8 gap here that you do not want to seal. You want to leave that open so your cards will fit right down, slide right in there. And I did give it 1/8 of an inch for those that are using 4 by 6 envelopes, and that's going to still allow you to have playroom in between the sides to make your cards slide in easy if you're using a 4 by 6 recipe card. Okay. And there we go. You got your little pocket. Let's do the other side. Hold over on your score line. And as you can see, if you can see that, I did not cut it very straight. I don't do well with cutting straight lines, but you're not going to see it, as it will be covered up, and it's not going to affect your pocket in any way. So, okay, go ahead and add your adhesive. your adhesive to your bottom tab. And there's your second pocket. Okay, so you're going to take your two pockets, grab your 9.5 by 6.5 sheet that you scored, add a 1/2 inch on each side, and then lightly left your little guideline at the bottom. You want to, now I am gonna fold my sides over just to help give me a guide to where I want it to put my pockets. Now when I set my pockets in here, I'm going to put them about 1/8 of an inch from the fold line. And you should have plenty of room, and that way your pockets meet up, okay? Add adhesive to the back of your pockets. Again, you can use whatever adhesive you prefer. I'm using the glue. I'm going to just stick it about 1/8 of an inch. And then do the other one as well. Put this right up there. And okay. Now, before we add our top on this, I want to go ahead and just, now I'm giving it some extra playroom here. I'm adding my glue up here. Fold these over. Now I'm going to add my glue to this side here. Taking my 8.5 by 6.5, and I'm going to layer it on here, meeting the bottom and the top and the sides. And then I want to go ahead and, since I've already added the glue on here, I'm going to go ahead and fold it down, press it down to secure that one. And then I'm going to add my glue over here. And that one. I'm going to add some more glue here, since I've kind of let it dry out. And again, you want to match it up. So, now this is open down here, so you're going to be able to add it to your, it's your gusset to add towards for your hinge. So that's going to have fit right there on top of your hinge. Okay, that gives you that 1/2 inch for your hinge. Now, I'm going to slide our cards in. And I'll even stick out a little bit. So what I want to do is to make my notch, and I'm just going to use a, now you can eyeball this or you can measure it. And I'm just going to make a little dot here. It makes it look like it's in the middle of it. So yeah. Out. And I'm using the Stampin' Up! Paper puncher. It does have the inside, so you can see where the middle is. Helps you to determine the middle. So I line that up here. And now, because this is Cartabella cardstock, it's very thick. So I'm going to have to use some pressure. Go through both of those. Okay. And turn it over. Now, this is one of the reasons why your pocket is only 5 1/4 width, because that's going to give you that extra room here to do your notches. And so being that I have a large circle punch, it gave me plenty of room. If you could use your envelope punch and do a little notch, you could use another punch that's going to give you a notch, any type of a notch you want. So then after that, you're just going to slide these in. Now again, remember, mine were 5 1/2 or 3 1/2 by 5, so they're not as long as these shown. Okay, and then you'll just want to cover it with paper, and you can cover it from the bottom down like I did, as it still will work. I covered it all, as it still will fit in your hinge. And that means that your paper goes all the way down. So, okay, page 1. And again, for this page, for the recipe album that I made, you will need 2 of these. My next main page was the expandable pocket. And that you are going to need to cut your cardstock. And your cardstock is going to be 8 1/2. Oh, it's not 8 1/2. Is it 8 1/2? Yeah, 8 1/2. I'm sorry, I was thinking something else. 8 1/2 by 7 1/2. Okay, and then you're going to need a second piece cut at 8 1/2 by 6 1/2. So one 7 1/2 by 8 1/2 and one 6 1/2 by 8 1/2. Then you're going to need to cut, and you can use your scraps for this, one that's 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. Alright, and then using your scraps, cut 2 pieces, 2 inches by, and I think I did mine by 5, 2 inches by 5. Okay, so on the first thing you want to do is on the 2 pieces that you cut 2 inches by 5, you want to score these, and these are going to be your gussets for your expanding album, and you want to score them on a 1/2, 1 inch, and then 1 1/2 inches. So you want to score them on 1/2, 1 1/2, and a 1/2. Okay. And then the 8.5 by 4 1/4. You want to score this at 3 1/4 by, and then so you want to make one score line at 3 1/4, and the second one you want to score at 3 3/8. Okay, this is going to be your hinge or your flat for your pocket. So you want to score, go ahead and fold it at your 3 inch or your 3 1/4 inch line, and then pull it back and score it again at your 3 3/8 score line. So that's going to give you a 1/8 of an inch gusset at the top of your flap. You want to go ahead and miter your corners here on this. Get that ready. Then on your two pieces that you scored at a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1 1/2 inch, you want to fold that exactly in half on your score line. And you want to take this one and fold it down. And you want to turn it over and do the same on your next one. So what you're doing is making your gusset for your expandable pocket with your peaks and your valleys. So you're going to have a peak, a valley, a peak. Okay? And then if you turn it over, you got a valley, a peak, and a valley. But so fold it in half, fold this one down, turn it over, fold this one down. Okay, and there's your two peaks and your valley. Now, you want to use your 7 1/2 by 8 1/2 sheet. You want to go ahead and add adhesive or your score tape, and on these, on my little gussets, I am going to use score tape on them just because it's easier for me than it is with the liquid adhesive. Not to be out of frame, and I think I've been out of frame, and I apologize there. I'm just going to trim off my excess. Okay. Now, remember, bottom part, we need a 1/2 inch for your gusset to fit on your hinge. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, adhere this up above the 1/2 inch, all right? You want, when you put this down, you want the way you want the inside of the gusset is your peak, valley, peak to be facing the inside. So, let me take off. Start my score tape. And again, bringing it up above the leaving a little bit more than a 1/2 inch at the bottom. I'm going to add it on. Now, it's not going to be all the way up at the top here because of the fact that you want to be able to put a liner up here on this. So, do the same thing with the other side, leaving a 1/2 inch in your valley peak, valley peak going towards the inside of your pocket. And having that right up there. Putting that right along the edge. And to come in and burnish it down. Now what you want to do, and if you're going to add a decorative border edge to your pocket, I would suggest you do that now, and I am going to be adding one to mine. I'm just using Martha Stewart punch for my edge, which makes a big mess. So, again, add your decorative punch edge if you want prior to putting this one down. Otherwise, you're going to have to pull it right off. And ask, how do I know that? Because I've done it. So, all right. So, you want to line them up at the bottom, making sure your bottoms meet. And then line this up with the edge of your page. And then have it here. And do the same thing on the other side. And there you go. Now, that's going to give you an expandable pocket. And then it's going to allow you to have your gusset at the bottom to put on your hinge, and which then is going to close the bottom and make it more of a secure pocket. So let's do your flap. Now again, if you want a decorative edge, do it before you add, we do the next step. And I'm going to go ahead and do mine. So, again, using the Martha Stewart punch, I added mine. So, all right, so you got your 1/8 gusset here. This is your flap that's going to attach to your pocket back here. So when you attach it, you want to just meet up with that first score line, which is your 3 3/8 score. All right. So, and again, you can use adhesive. You can use liquid glue. I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'll tell you what, I love this art glitter glue. Just very good quality. It adheres. It stays adhered, and it's fast drying as well. But yet enough that you can maneuver around it if you have to move stuff. So, all right. there you go. And you'll just add a magnet, or if you're using magnet closures, I did on all mine. Can't find my magnets now. Okay, I just had them out too. So I'll be adding, oh, there they are right in front of my face. Oh my gosh. Good thing they weren't a snake. It would have got me for sure. I think I'm having one of those days. Probably shouldn't be doing a tutorial today, but I think I'm having one of those days every day. So it doesn't really matter what day I do in a tutorial, I'm sure. All right. So gonna find your middle. It's 8.5, so it's about 4 1/4. So I'm gonna put that right there. And that one. Fold this down. And my magnet, there you go. Okay, so there's your pocket. And again, your bottom will be sealed up when you add it to your hinge. And it's all ready to add your designer paper. 3 of these for the album to make a 5-page album. I made 3 pocket, expanding pocket pages, and then I made 2 of the pocket recipe card pockets. And then this is plenty of room in the back that you can add another pocket to hold some more recipes in. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get a hold of me, and I'll be sure to help you out as much as I can. Thanks again for watching, and if you make an album using these page tutorials, please share. I would love to see how I've inspired you. Have a good day. Thanks.